All right, so this is a pretty unique episode. Obviously, we're building Brown Ballers FC, but we're actually in Pittsburgh. We got Tej here with us. You actually see Paris, we got Mig, we got some stuff going on in the background too. So I was like, yeah, this is the perfect time for us to kind of bring Tej on, introduce him, and keep showing how we're building this team. So welcome, bro.
Appreciate it.
Welcome to it, man.
Appreciate it. It's a bit out of nowhere, but
yeah,
it works.
This is out of nowhere. Also, this is literally the first day. We got
been up for.
Got here like 6 hours ago or something like that. Anyways,
yeah.
We got here this morning, met at the airport for the first time, met Paris for the first time, Mick for the first time, and just kind of getting everything ready for tomorrow for our first ever tryout, which is gonna be a lot of fun. So it's cool to have you here.
I'm glad to be here.
But first, before anything going too far, that's how I always ask the question.
Yeah.
Who is Tej? How would you explain yourself to everybody watching?
All right. So I'm a retired player now at this point. I'm retired.
It's funny
now.
to say that, right?
I know.
How old are you again?
24.
24. Retired young.
My body's done. But I came on to I'm currently in law school, pursuing a dual law degree and Master of Public Policy at Duke and UNC right now. So
which is insane.
That's currently what I do. But I'm a retired player. I played at University of Maryland for a year, and then I played at Davidson in the A10. I'm from right outside of Atlanta. That's kind of where I did my academy days, and so that's kind of the short version. I'm sure you have.
I like that.
You have
We're
more.
going to expand on that, obviously.
I'm sure that'll be expanded
just
on.
So everybody knows. So it's cool that obviously we were able to get you a part of the team, because I know we were talking for a while.
Yeah.
And even when we first started talking about it, I'm pretty sure these guys weren't even on board yet.
No.
So it was really just me talking to Tej, trying to figure out if he knew coaches, if he knew players, and Tej was basically helping, just so everyone knows, like I said, before we even had a coaching staff, like you had reached out and we were connected, and you really wanted to help and be a part of this. So we'll get into all the Brown Baller stuff soon. You mentioned the dual law degree. So just really quickly, it's not normal I don't think that's normal for people to say, hey, I'm getting a dual law degree. Also from two really dope schools.
Yeah.
I'm Canadian, so like when I hear Duke and UNC, I just think about March Madness and basketball.
Yeah.
What is that, and you talked about it earlier, what does that workload look like for you right now?
I think honestly, it's the way that the program is separated. It's kind of like two separate things.
Okay.
So last year I did just the classes at Duke. This year, it's just law school. Like one is its own beast. It's very all encumbering. So I think the way that they set it up is very helpful.
Yeah.
But I think it's a unique challenge. I think it's been very helpful for me as I've gone through it. I think I've learned more what I want to do.
Right.
I think when I came into it, I was just coming out of college. I think I was a little bit burned out from the playing piece. And so I think I kind of needed a year before I got into law school, just because it's its own beast.
It's its own beast, yeah.
I actually had a professor at Davidson that is an alum of this Duke program.
Okay.
And so I had gotten to know him really well. From what I was interested in at that point, he talked about, I think it could be intellectually interesting, at least the public policy piece. I think I'm leaning a little bit more away from that and towards more just the law side, maybe even sports law. I think that's honestly something that
natural fit.
I think being on this side of it has been pretty great for that. I think it's something that I've always known I've wanted to stay involved in sport. I just didn't know what that would look like.
And how to do it, right?
Post playing. It's something I truly care about. And so I think being on this side of it, I'm seeing what that could actually look like. And I think that's why I've enjoyed it so much.
Right.
But it's busy, but I think having played my whole career
and your whole life pretty much,
doing I think having always been playing at the same time of doing school, like I'm used to that part. So I think it's honestly felt very natural to get into that busy piece, and I think I've been able to tap into some of the things that I had before and have helped me a lot so far.
And hone that now, becoming a lawyer in the future. That's cool. I don't want to get too far off the soccer part.
Yeah.
We did a feature on you. I think it was last year. It may have even been 2 years ago.
Yeah.
I feel it was really early on in Brown Ballers. That was cool. That introduced a lot of us to you as a football player. First Indian American to play in the Big Ten, A10. What is that? Is there a feeling there? Does that matter to you? Like, what does that mean to you?
I honestly didn't realize I was the first one until you guys did that feature.
Right.
I think I knew I was doing something different, like just naturally whenever I would go to these events, like there weren't other people that looked like me. So I think I intuitively
Exactly.
knew it, but I don't think I officially knew it until this feature came out. And so I don't think I had necessarily processed it until after that. And naturally, as you finish playing, you reflect a lot more on what it means. And I think to me, it kind of was. So I guess I should probably preface this. So my playing career didn't end up going the exact way I wanted to. So I actually got to Maryland the year after they won the national championship. My recruiting process was kind of all over the place, honestly, because it happened right when within U.S. soccer, the age group splits switched. So it went from kind of school-based towards birth year. So that happened my junior year.
Okay.
So my recruiting stuff kind of was thrown for a loop because we were going to some events with some coaches I had been talking to already, and then we just didn't because some players that were on my team, like, they had already graduated, so they had no reason to go, and I was on the younger end. So things got thrown off a little bit. So I think for a little bit there, my recruiting path was not necessarily straight. So I think when I got to Maryland and I got that offer to join that team, it was almost like I made it moment, especially because as I got to this is kind of all over the place, but when I was playing, I actually had 5 knee surgeries throughout college. I tore 2 tendons in my left knee, and so the way that the college schedule is built, it's a very quick turnaround, and it's not necessarily conducive to like big injuries like that. So a lot of my rehab was on a quick basis, and
very fast.
I had great like medical team behind me helping me throughout the whole way, but you do what you can, and so everything's so quick that I think because of that, I never was able to get physically to what I needed to be able to play every day. So I think as I look back at times, it was like, oh, I didn't get to the playing level that I could have. I felt like I was the best version of myself as a player when I got to Maryland, and then I didn't necessarily get to build on that. It's actually pretty funny. The first time I talked to Paris, he said he knew who I was because of, at that point I was playing there. So I just think when I think back of it in that sense, I don't know, maybe what could have been different, maybe.
It's always
on the playing piece, maybe. I'm very
glad.
It's
always the mystery of an athlete like yourself, right?
I'm very glad for where I am now, but I think there's always that part of it that's like, oh, what could have been different?
If you were healthy and everything happened,
So I think to get back to your main question, when you guys did that feature and I heard that, it was kind of like, okay, maybe there was actually a lot more that I did in my career than just what happened on the field. And it was more than, okay, yeah, you were hurt all 4 years. Like, it was more than that. And I think that is something that I'm extremely proud of.
And you should be,
There have been a lot of people that have reached out on social media after that feature, just saying, like, cool. I think this story is really cool. I think that's part of why I wanted to get involved with this in the first place, is having that kind of representation, showing those stories is half the battle. Like, you kind of need to know that it's possible in order to keep pursuing it, because it is tough. It's not something that is easy. There are absolute rewards to playing in college, but it is kind of like a job. It's not always fun, so you really have to want to do it. Not just college, playing a sport professionally.
General,
I think it's when you get to a certain level, it changes a lot, and so I think being able to see people that have
that's Paris making his little
I think I totally lost my train of thought, but anyway, I think I answered your question.
So let's build on that a little bit. We'll go off the cuff here, because like you said, you did go through a lot. The what could have been, all that kind of stuff comes to your mind. Again, battling the 5 different injuries, plus all the stuff that goes on behind the scenes that we don't know about, right? That you still got to do school, you still got to do all these things, and you're hurt and you can't play. And you got to watch your teammates, and there's a lot of stuff. How did that affect the mental side? And like, were there things that you turned to, whether it's family or movies or music or something, that helped you get through those times?
I think it is my family, absolutely.
Yeah.
I was very lucky to have a very good support system around me. I think, again, as I reflect on it, I always think, like, how was I able to make it? Obviously, I like to think I had ability and all that to do it, but I think I had a lot of people behind me that were very supportive and pushing me to do that, especially when it was hard. So I think during those times, I was able to lean on them and take that bigger picture view when it's not always easy. Like, this is all happening when I'm 24 right now. This is all happening when I was 21.
Yeah, it's
So
just
like
still
you're
so
still
young.
very young.
Yeah.
So I think I can't thank my parents enough for that. They were able to help me through that and see that bigger picture and take it in stride and be able to keep moving on past it. So I think that was really the big thing. But I think the skills that I developed from that, I've had some more events happen post that have not been easy, that kind of were shocks.
Yeah.
And I think I've been able to handle them pretty well because this is not something that's new to me. I know how to deal with
You've kind of gone through that and you
adversity
figured that
type
process.
stuff.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You've built yourself through adversity. It's important to say that because like I think a lot of people underestimate how important the family side is.
Mm-hmm. It's massive.
You have 2 sisters.
Mm-hmm.
They're also
you guys did a sister.
with Shreya, right?
Yeah.
We did a great feature on his sister Shreya, and it's like that also adds like that's a support system in itself because she's also in that pro athlete life. Got great parents, but I think you said something interesting too, and I think a lot of people, and I've heard this from many NCAA D1 athletes, people don't talk about how hard it is. Like you guys are being pushed to your limits every single day. You have to still do school. You want to live a life and do other things outside of that, but it's like you feel like there's so much pressure and demand to perform at that level because also there's money. Could be scholarships. Everyone has their own, unique opportunities happening. So it's like you're thinking about all that stuff, but we're just as fans, we're just seeing you go on the pitch. We're not seeing that's why I commend yourself and all these athletes because like there's a lot going on that people don't know about. And imagine that, like you said, then going pro.
Yeah, it's even more.
Another step
it's
up.
even more when you get to, and I think there's even gradations between it. Like, soccer's not a revenue sport at the end of the day. Like, it's not a revenue sport. So yes, we have a lot, but there's even more within college athletics. Like, if you look at, not to say that what we faced was nothing, but like it's not nearly even the same level as March Madness is happening right now. It's not nearly the same level as that.
No, it's not
and
close,
then you take it to even beyond that with the pro level. It's just there's a lot that it becomes a job at certain points. So you really have to love the sport.
You have to
enjoy what you're doing because there are times when it's not fun. Like when I look back in my career, there's parts that were pretty incredible. Like I got to do some really cool things.
Yeah.
But there was also a lot of hard parts. But I think because I loved playing so much, and that's what kept me going rather than the external pieces. Like I loved playing the sport, and that's something I've missed the most after being gone.
Right.
It's not the cool things you get to do or any of that. It's just you miss being on a team. You miss messing around. I think we've been here 6-7 hours already, and
it's
it
just
feels
the jokes,
like
right? It's like
it
the
feels
boys,
like I'm on a team again, and I feel like that's something I miss a lot.
I think
so you have to have that in order to to be able to do it. You have to have
the passion is so important, man. On the soccer side, one more question is, I don't know if you can pick this, but like, do you have something that you look back on as like, that may have been my highest moment, or like that may have been my favorite moment or thing that I achieved in my football career? Can you pick one of those things?
I don't know if I can pick a single moment.
Or what would you say, maybe a couple of those moments?
I think one of them has to be definitely when I ended up committing to Maryland.
Yeah, okay, of course.
I think for me I had faced a lot of kind of internal doubts along that recruiting process. Like I talked about, it was very up and down. I think there's pieces where I consider, like, do I want to play? Like, do I want to? I could have had a very different college experience if I had gone to like UGA or Georgia Tech. Those are two like schools that people love to go to and have a great time. So I think I could have had I think I faced that like internal doubt as I was going through the recruiting process. But once I got that offer from them, I was kind of like, that for me, that was kind of like a pinnacle moment that I was like, okay, like I was able to do it, and I did make the right decision. Like it was worth it. I think I proved it to myself, and so for me internally, that was a big one. I would say another one. It's kind of a weird one, but I think after my I think it was my third knee surgery. This was my junior year of college at Davidson. I was able to train the entire fall and like consistently get back to that level that I knew I could play at. And I think for me, that's something that I don't take for granted, because throughout college, it drains your body, and I wasn't able to play at that level. So I think being able to train that entire time and play at a consistent level, be part of the team, not in the rehab room constantly. I think that was a big moment for me. I think, again, it proved to myself that internally that, like, my body can handle playing at this level.
Yeah.
I had some tough breaks, but, like, I could do it. Because I think I always face that internally. It's like you made it there, and then you got hurt. So it's like I never got to see it. So I think being
it's like
able
a roadblock.
to fully play and almost prove it to myself and the other teammates are like, okay, yeah, he is pretty good. Like, it does make sense. I think I think that goes along with the pressure of being the first to do anything. I think you don't just want to be there. At least that's how I thought of.
Yeah, you don't want to show up every day.
I didn't want to
excel.
just be there. That's not when I say that I didn't necessarily think about being the first Indian American to do anything. My goal was just to play at a high level. Like, that came after it. So I think when I was in college, I still wanted to do well. Like, I still wanted to play that. So I think that season being able to do it was another big one. I guess a last one is I ended up breaking the record for my high school my senior year.
Is Woodward Academy?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. Explain
and then
this.
I was named to the top draw soccer All-American team that year.
Yeah.
So I think that was when I felt like I was at my peak as a player. And so I think those were two, like, the external things are always, they're not the most important, but I think they're helpful to know. Like, I don't know what the right word to use for it is. I think you know what I mean, but
yeah, I get it. It also just, in my opinion, it solidifies you at that point in time of like, where am I at if I'm stacking myself up against the best in the country?
Yeah.
Because that sounds like it's one of those accolades where it's like one of the best would get them.
Yeah.
Right. So.
And so I think I mentioned what that means. So I ended up breaking that record. I guess I don't know when I officially broke it, but it was during my senior year, and they set it on my senior night. So I think that was pretty cool.
Oh, okay, so you didn't even know, yeah.
I didn't know officially
Very cool.
until they did that. So I think that was a pretty cool moment. And then
That's incredible.
Especially because I committed late, so I didn't necessarily I committed after my school signing day, so like I didn't get to do the full signing day thing. So I think this was kind of like my commitment moment at that point. So I think that was another proud one for me.
I like that, man. Obviously, like a tremendous career. Injuries are always going to be tough, but like I said, I'm happy that you're on this side now with us to experience what this could be like. Because this could be huge, right?
Yeah.
For all of us involved, for the culture, for the next generation of football players. As we go into Brown Ballers FC, now we bounce around a lot of different roles and titles, and I just want him to know, like, he's been like a jack of all trades for us. Like, if there's something he's always asking, like, what can I help with? What can I do? Which is like very rare for us to come by. So we appreciate that, but we've also solidified a role for you.
We have.
Thanks to Paris and everyone helping out. Director of Soccer Operations.
Yeah.
And can you explain kind of like maybe some of the key things you've been helping do? Yeah. And I know you've been helping Paris do a lot of stuff too.
I think you described it. I don't think any one day is the exact same. I think if I could boil it down to one thing, what I do is just add a player perspective to what is being done, whatever that specific task is, whether it's kind of helping Paris with player ID stuff, especially with some of the U.S. based players, because I know these systems.
Your specialty,
I know these systems. I know some of these players. I know people that have played with them. So I think I'm just more comfortable with that. So whether it's helping him with that, or whether it's we were looking at like busing and flights from Pittsburgh, where the training camp is going to be down to Cary, and just adding that like player perspective. But I think honestly it goes like it's day by day. Every week when we connect and talk about what needs to be done, like, I don't know what it'll be.
Yeah.
And
None of us actually know.
I'm actually really enjoying that. But I think if I could boil it down to one thing, I believe it's probably just keeping a player's perspective in mind, because at the end of the day, that's who's going to be determining whether we can do all the work in the background. But at the end of the day, it's the 7 people that are on the field when they play. So keeping them.
Exactly, yeah.
I think that's something I learned I had some really great coaches that were able to, that's what they always did. And that's why we were able to perform when we were. So I think that's what I try and do in whatever task that is, whether it's reaching out to people that I know or looking something up for you. That's kind of what I think that's what that role means.
No, absolutely. I would say that, and just adding the player recruiting side, where you're like I said, diving in, you're really talking to guys, you're helping to, evaluate and see, which guys, we want to maybe take on the team, right? That's obviously going to start tomorrow also, when we get 20 to 25-ish guys out here for tryouts. You've been helping vet those guys. Let's talk about from the player side. Whether you're a player coming in or now you're on this side, when you come to a trial like this, what are you expecting to see, I guess, from the coaching side, and then maybe from the player? Like, what do you, if you're a player, let's say Tej is coming to trial, what are you looking to show the coaches?
From the player side, I can speak from that. Honestly, from the other side, this is my first time doing it, so
it's
we'll be
gonna
learning it as we
interesting,
go.
yeah.
But I think what I appreciated when I would show up to a trial type event is clarity from the coaching staff of first of all, what this is being used for.
Good point. Yeah.
Because I think that changes a lot how you approach it. Clarity for not necessarily what the trial's being used for, because that's sometimes beyond it, but a little bit of clarity for what they want, what they're looking for, what they value. That's not always the case, but I think that comes through in a well-organized session or a plan for it. It's not that you show up and then you have no idea what's happening. I think that's one of the biggest things I saw when I got into the college level is every session is planned out to the minute before.
Right.
You know exactly what you're doing. You have the times. Most of the time they even have the teams picked out, who's going where. All of that is done before. And I think that allows you to focus on the playing piece. So for me, that's something that I would appreciate from a coaching staff if I was going into a trial. So I think that's something that we always will talk about and make sure that it's coming through, and it already has. Emmerich has that. The session is exactly
Coach
that.
Emmerich has it planned out.
Already that. We're at the field right now, the day before, scoping it out to make sure the plan fits, because, like you said, this is the first time everyone's seeing it. So I think that piece is already taken care of. These are high level people in the sport. These are not. I think that's why this team is able to happen the way it is.
It's able to function because we have the right people in place.
These are high level people in the sport. I think if I was playing in it, the biggest thing I would say is confidence. It goes a really long way in being able, and it comes through. If you're unsure of yourself in something like a trial setting, it'll show. You'll be, even if you have the technical ability, if you're not confident, your first touch will be a little bit off. It'll be heavy. It won't be what you need if you're stressed the whole time. So I think maintaining that confidence, just relaxing and knowing that you come from a good level that you've already played at, and just remembering good habits even, and keeping that in the back of your head is how I'd like to approach them.
That's simple and sound
I think
advice.
It worked.
Yeah, that's sound advice. What do you most going back again, when you played in Maryland and Davidson, again, you weren't thinking, I'm going to be this Indian American, I'm going to be known on brown ballers for this. None of this existed. That wasn't a thing people even talked about, right? You were just playing football because you grew up and you loved it and you're good at it. Obviously, Brown Ballers FC never existed back then either.
Yeah.
So again, on the other side, that's a little different because you're not a player, but is there a certain type of feeling that you get for this team?
I feel like I'm back in that mentality, that mindset again. I think it feels familiar.
Yeah.
We were talking about this coming back from the airport. I think law school is very new, right? This is that's something that I think every post athlete will tell you, that a big part of your life is just done. If you don't go on to play pro, it's just over. It's something you've been doing for 20 something years, and then it's just done.
So I think
everything feels a little bit weird for a little bit.
Yeah.
So I think getting back into this has felt very natural and
Nice.
pretty
I'm
pretty
happy that we could
great.
bring that out for you.
I think that's part of why I was so interested and why I reached out to you guys. I know when it was just me and you. I can go back through and find the old Google
emails
sheets
and stuff.
of the players.
Google Sheets. Yeah.
Yeah, the players that we were looking at.
That's right. You made a whole Google sheet.
Yeah,
I was like,
of initial players and stuff like that.
For clear context, obviously, we're not football, soccer experts, so we have to go find the right people to put in place. And Tej was, like I said, the first guy. So I asked him, I was like, can you help identify some players? We don't even know who the players are. And he made the whole initial Google spreadsheet, which was really well done. And we started everything from there.
There's some of them within there that are here now. So
yeah,
I think
which is really
works.
cool.
It works. But I think what I was going at is I think it feels exciting to be here. I think initially I thought oh, you know what, I'm gonna get back in shape and I'm gonna play.
Yeah,
I know. When we first talked about it, I was
like,
I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna play in this thing. But I think I thought about it a lot. I don't need to have a 6th surgery.
Yeah.
Nobody
wants that for you.
I don't need a 6th surgery. So I think where my body is at this point, where I am I'm in the middle of law school. I can't. I'm not training the same way I used to anymore. This was, I didn't even see it as a second alternative. I know when we were talking, it was kind of this is something that I care about a lot. I still felt like I had a lot to give to the sport.
Yeah,
especially because, like I mentioned, I didn't necessarily reach playing potential like I could have. Maybe not. You'll never know that. But I think I felt like I had a lot to give still. And in this capacity, I've felt like I've been able to tap into a different side of it and provide like and be useful and helpful and help. I think everyone plays an important role in making it happen. It's not just one. It's not just one piece. It's all of it, and all of it is honestly equally as important. Because if you leave any of it out, you're not going to do it properly. Which, being part of this team where everyone has that same exact mentality, like if we're going to do this, we're going to do it right.
Yeah.
And we're not going to spend like everyone has different jobs. Like everyone's
doing multiple things.
This is not what anyone is doing full time.
Yeah.
Me and you have gotten on a call, I think at like 11:30 at one point before. I've gotten on a call with Paris at like, I think on the dot 6 a.m. before I went to class for the whole day. So like everyone is doing different things. And so having that mentality that like, no, if we're going to do this, we're going to do this right, feels really good and is exciting to be a part of.
One of the best things I've loved about, obviously, there's many things, but having Ambrick and Paris is the mentality of like, and I'm sure you agree with this, is like, we're not just going to have fun.
Mm-hmm.
We're not going to say, hey guys, Brown Ballers is here, let's make a cheer and have fun. Like, we're going to win the games. We're trying to field the best team. We've seen some of the players we're signing from Europe, which we've never done before, even for our basketball team. Like, we're trying to find the best all over the world, which is, again, exciting and really cool. When you think about, this is going to be maybe a little bit random, but also you've been around a lot of good coaches. You played D1. What do you think in your mind would be like, let's say the philosophy or like the mantra of this team in order for us to be successful? Like, what would you want that to be?
I think a lot of it comes from confidence, like playing with confidence and not playing with like a complacent attitude of like, oh, we're here, that's enough. Like, no, the goal is to really show it. I think representation absolutely like is important, being able to see people that are there, but I think it's even more powerful if they're there and like you take it to a different level. Exactly. Like you're not just there and then that's enough, but like you're there and you're one of the better ones.
Or winning games,
team, or
you're scoring goals,
or you're
beating
playing
teams. Like,
I think that's what I internally struggle with at times with the injury piece. Is like, okay, I got there, but like I wasn't able to do that extra piece, which is what I'm hopefully able to help with on this side now. So I think that has to be the mentality is never not being complacent. It's not a good word for a mentality, but I think you get the you get the point. You can tell that soccer is not a revenue sport. I don't do these interviews.
I got a couple last questions, but I think the other thing I love is I feel like we're laying this foundation. Like for example, like all of us, none of us have built a pro soccer team. I don't think Ambrick or Pars has either, even though he's an agent. But like it's different building this for $1 million tournament that's only a week, not even a week long. Mm-hmm. So everything we're doing is got to be fast, quick decisions, but you got to put the right people in the right place to succeed. So that's all learning for all of us. Mm-hmm. But I feel like what we're building, this could be something we do for the next 5-10 years or even beyond that in bigger ways. Yeah. But this is going to be where it starts, right? It's going to be an exciting summer. There's going to be a lot of stuff going on.
I think the other thing is it's building a community of it. Like this is something that I didn't have growing up. Like it doesn't have to end now. I think you guys have already built that on the basketball side. Like it is it's a week-long tournament, whatever. Like you only get a certain number of games, but you're still getting connected and meeting all these people. And I think that lasts beyond it as well.
100%.
So that's another reason why I wanted to be part of this. Like this is something you can take going forward. Yeah. However it looks may be different, but like these are people that are like you that also care about stuff that you care about.
That you care about and you love.
And,
so it's all natural synergies, right? Talk about your playing career, talk about a lot of different stuff. If you have to give a piece of advice, whatever, anything, let's say you're a mentor for the next generation of South Asian footballers coming up, what are you saying to them?
I would say go for it. Honestly, like don't be scared to go for it. I think that's something, like I see there are a lot of talented people out there, and I think being part of it, you're realizing how many other people are out there. Like Paris and Ambrick have made huge strides in the game. Like they're real people. So I think seeing that is super important, and I think that should motivate younger players to go for it. Try and be that next level and keep pushing it on. Don't be like complacent with, oh, I made it or these guys have done it. Like try and keep pushing it on.
Push the envelope.
And don't take no for an answer. I think it's really easy to, I think within South Asian culture especially, this is not a popular path.
Not at all.
Right? So you're facing your external pressures and no's as in high level sport. Like every high level athlete is used to facing no's, but I think when you face it from your own culture as well, sometimes it can be tough. So I think the biggest advice to parents and young kids is like, go for it. There's a lot to be gained from this outside of just maybe external accolades. Like this is a great thing to be a part of. Like I look at my life and I'm very thankful that I was involved in sport at this level. So I would say go for it and don't take no easily.
I love it, man. I like that the last question was actually probably the best answer the whole time because you just spoke true facts. I'm excited, bro.
Yeah.
We're just getting started. This is literally day one. We got a couple more days coming up with trials and everything in between. Then we're going to come back to Pittsburgh for a training camp in May. Then June 4th to 9th, we're playing in Cary, North Carolina for $1 million, Brown Ballers FC. We're building the team. We got Tej. You'll see a lot more from him soon, so make sure you guys stay tuned.